Hello everybody, Jyoti here. Welcome to Jopad Tech Guru. In today's session, we are understanding the ASP.NET project structure under the ASP.NET Core tutorial. If you have not subscribed yet to my channel, please do subscribe and like the video and click on the bell icon to get the notifications of all my videos. Let us start the discussion. So which are the different type of project templates whenever I click on ASP.NET Core application? So you are going to see first of all, a dialog box in which we are going to get different kind of options. So before going ahead, let me click on ASP.NET Core new web project. You have to choose ASP.NET Core web application. So as we have already discussed in my previous videos, ASP.NET Core web application supports different kind of operating systems like Linux, Mac, as well as Windows. So currently I'm choosing ASP.NET Core web application with C#. You can give any name here. If you want to change the location, you can change it. Let us click on create. Now it is going to show me create a new ASP.NET Core web application with the two options. One is .NET Core and second is the .NET Core versions. If you have not getting any two options over here, you have to go and install the ASP.NET Core from Microsoft.com website. As I'm getting two options here, 3.1 and 5.0, currently I'm choosing 3.1. This is meant for .NET 5.0. So I'm getting empty API web application with MVC, Angular, React, as well as React.js and Redux. So empty, as everybody is aware, we have to go on creating all the folders, all the files related to our project. So in case of empty, as the name itself says that nothing will be there, the empty project template does not have any content by default. So if you want to do everything manually from the scratch, then you need to select this empty template. This is one of the standard way through which you can learn all the things about the particular project. So whenever you are starting a ASP.NET application or MVC application or ASP.NET Core application, try to select this empty project template so that you will come to know all the ins and out of the entire project. Next comes the web application with the MVC template. So as everybody is aware about the MVC here, so MVC is model view controller pattern. So wherein we are going to have the model view controller as the folders in our project structure, in our entire solution explorer. So I can create any number of classes under the model setting, any number of controllers within the controllers, as well as different type of view pages within the views folder. So even this particular template also meant for that. The web application MVC model view controller template contains everything that is required to create an ASP.NET Core MVC web application. The web application MVC template creates models, views, and controllers folders. It also adds web specific things such as JavaScript, CSS files, layout files, etc., which are necessary and required in order to develop a web application. The following thing we can just observe it over here. If I'm clicking on empty, let us go to the Solution Explorer. For the empty template, I'm having dependencies. These are the standard dependencies which are there with respect to our ASP.NET Core web application, and the different type of frameworks related, application related informations will be present here inside the framework. So within the analyzers, we have got ASP.NET Core analyzers, components.analyzers, and MVC.analyzers. And in the framework, we have got ASP.NET Core application and .NET Core application. Within the properties, I have got LAUNCHSETTINGS.JSON. These contains the IIS settings, and I'm going to discuss this project structure in our future slides. So this contains all the profiles as well as the IIS related informations. APPSETTINGS.JSON is one of the file in which it is having all the information regarding the logging. What is the default information, Microsoft warning, and as well as Microsoft.hosting.lifetime information. Next it contains the program.cs, which is the main, which is the startup of your entire application, wherein it is calling this create host builder. From this, it is going to call a static function called as create host builder, which is using one of the use startup of startup. For that, we are having a startup class here, in which we are having a class named startup, which contains configure services and configure. There are two types of methods, configure services and configure. You can keep on adding any number of implementations as per your project requirement. So this method gets called by the runtime, and whenever you want to add the services to the container, you can call this particular method. It is using iService collection services as one of the argument. So in the configure, usually you will be having all the middlewares. Middlewares are the component classes which are there within the pipeline. Whenever the ASP.NET Core application is executing, it is going to execute part by part. You're having different kind of middlewares. We have currently app.useRouting, as I have used the empty project template. So like this, you are getting different kind of middlewares as per your requirement. So it may be for the static files, or it may be for the exception handler, or it may be for the MVC. So depending upon your requirement, you can keep on adding the middlewares. So how we are having the routing concept, similarly, we are having the routing concept here in the ASP.NET Core application. Currently, it is pointing to use endpoints, lambda expression, endpoints.map get. How we are having map route, here we are having the map get. So there is a async and await. So using await, it is going to show me hello world. So this is about your empty project template. So if I'm clicking on file new project, ASP.NET Core web application, and I'm going to choose web application. In the solution explorer, again, I'm getting dependencies, analyzers, and frameworks. Properties, there is a launch settings.json, which contains the IIS related informations, IIS settings. And we have got one more folder called as WWWROOT. In this, whatever the external CSS files or JavaScript files or library files, which you want to add it with respect to the projects, you can keep on adding it. By default, it is showing us site.css, site.js, and Bootstrap, jQuery validation unobtrusive, as well as one of the favorite icon. It is having all the list of folders in which you can create your own user defined files, and you can keep it with respect to your projects. Next, it contains the pages. So how we are having the views folder in case of our MVC. Similarly, here we are having the pages folder, in which we are having again the shared folder, which contains the layout page. Layout page is just like your master page. So again, we have got one of the validation scripts partial.cs HTML page, which contains the validation related script information or the script references, which are required for this entire project. So layout contains the standard format, which is getting applied to all the pages wherever you are referring it. Next, it contains the error.cs HTML page, in which standard error informations are already stored by default. So if you want, you can go and change it as per your project requirement. So which is the particular file which is going to get executed first? So index.html is the file. So whatever you are going to write it over here, this is going to get displayed during the runtime, during execution. There is a privacy page also. Here, by default, it is showing me use this page to detail your site's privacy policy. If you want to give some important information regarding the private policies with respect to your website, you can go and give it here. By default, it is showing me this particular sentence. So in the APPSETTINGS.JSON file, I'm having the logging information, just like how the way we are having it in the empty template. Next contains the program.cs. Same things are present like your empty website. Again, I have got a main. This is a starting point in which my build and run will happen for this create a host builder method, in which I'm going to point it to the startup.cs here. Startup.cs contains the configuration, configure services, and configure. So these are the standard endpoints which are getting added. So use HTTPS redirection, use static files, use routing, use authorization. Like this, even you can go on adding any number of middlewares. So once I just execute the project, let us see what happens, as we have already changed the content of index.cshtml page, and we have written welcome to my project and Jopad Tech Guru. So I'm expecting the same sentence over here. So index is the starting page. So here I'm getting welcome to my project Jopad Tech Guru. Like this, even you can create any number of pages and you can keep on adding it. So in the future videos, I'm going to discuss regarding the middlewares as well as how to create the different kind of pages within the pages folder and how to add the razor content. So how to write the different kind of tag helpers. So using that, we can utilize our implementation with respect to our project. So in the MVC template, this is our web application template. So let me go ahead with ASP.NET Core web application. Now I would like to choose the MVC. So here configure for HTTPS, you can just uncheck that. Currently it is opening MVC under the heading of ASP.NET Core web application. So as you can see, again, I'm getting the dependencies, properties, WWWROOT, which contains CSS, JS, as well as library files. Now you can see that there is a folder called as controllers, models, as well as views. So in the controllers, by default, I'm getting the home controller. How the way you are getting it in case of simple MVC applications, ASP.NET MVC application. Similarly, here also you can get the same thing. Here, mainly you are getting the logger informations. So this actually contains the information which is related to your web application with respect to MVC. So here, some of the things are already pre-written by the Microsoft. So index, it returns a views, privacy, it returns a views, and there is a action result called as error. And there is a public home controller. This is one of the constructor in which our logger informations are getting instantiated. So model contains error view model. This is one of the standard class in which I have got the request ID as well as Boolean show request ID. It is going to check whether it is null or empty for the request ID. In the views folder, I have got all the related views with respect to the index, with respect to the privacy, which are already present inside my home controller. So this is for our privacy and this is for our index page. So index page, again, if you want to change, you can change anything over here. So again, there is a shared folder in which I have got view imports.cshtml as well as view start.cshtml. So in this view imports, I'm having the different kind of tag helper information. So currently it is showing me at add tag helper Microsoft ASP.NET Core.MVC.tag helpers. How we are having HTML helpers in case of MVC. Similarly, here we are having the tag helpers. I'm going to discuss all these things in our future videos. So view start .cshtml contains the reference to your master page or your layout page, which is present inside your application. So here in the app settings.json, again, I've got the logging information, program.cs, same thing, create host builder, as well as in the startup, configure services and configure. This is for your MVC application. So next comes the API template. The API template contains everything that is required and necessary to create an ASP.NET Core RESTful HTTP service. So whenever you want to create any RESTful HTTP service, you can prefer this API template. It contains only the controllers folder. The website specific things such as CSS files, JavaScript files, view files, layout files, etc. are not present. This is because an API does not have any user interface. Hence, it does not include such website specific files. This API template also does not have the models and views folders as they are not required for an API. So whenever you're going to create an API application, most of the things are already removed because these are not necessary to create our API applications. So if I'm going to create a ASP.NET Core application, and I'm going to select API, you can just observe the project structure. Here, I'm getting only the controllers, app settings.json, program.cs, startup.cs, and weather forecast.cs. So controllers, you can remove it. If you want, you can add the new controllers. You'll not be getting the views, view start, and other related files, just like the way how I have discussed already in case of empty website or web application with MVC. Because to create the API, these all things are not required. Next it contains the Angular, React.js, React.js, and Redux. So you can also create an ASP.NET Core web application in combination with Angular or React and Redux. So if you want to choose any of these templates, you can choose it and you can write the appropriate coding accordingly. So what are the project files? Which are the different type of project files? So whenever you're going for the Solution Explorer, if you want to change any of the project related informations, you can always go for the project properties first. That is, right click and you can go for the project properties. Let me go for the web application, which I have recently opened it. .22. Okay, so here I would like to go for the simple web application which I have created with the ASP.NET Core, in which I am getting all these standard files. So if I want to change any of the project properties, I can right click and go to the properties. Here I can see all my web application related properties. This is my assembly name. This is my .NET framework core target framework. Output type is console application. You can give any of the startup project. Usually by default, it will be set to the program. There is one more file called as project file. So which is having an extension of .csproj. So edit project file, it is going to open like this. So currently you can see that it is showing the project tag within that SDK property group, which is targeting to .NET Core AP application 3.1. So this is the target framework. So what exactly this means? So whenever you are opening this target framework element, this specifies the target framework of your ASP.NET Core applications. So here in this particular thing, this stands for the target framework moniker, there is one more file called as .NET Core App 3.1. So which is the TFM, which stands for the Target Framework moniker. On adding the dependencies through NuGet, it will add another item group element which contains the details of the package in the package reference element. So whenever you are adding any kind of NuGet packages over here, so there are many type of references you will be adding it. Suppose if I am clicking on manage NuGet packages, and let me just add any of the packages as such. Whichever packages you want to add, you can add it. You can either click on browse or you can click on installed or updates. So let me click on Microsoft.Entity Framework core.sql server. Click on install. So at any moment you can go and uninstall it. It is going to ask me the license, accept it. Come back to your web application. Now we can observe that there is one more item group which is getting created, which is referencing to the particular NuGet package which you have added. So package reference includes Microsoft.Entity Framework core.sql server 5.0 version. So again, if you go and uninstall it, it will be removed from the web application. So here in the web application CS project, it is getting removed. So at any instance, any number of references which you are adding it, those all things will be present inside your .cs proj file. Next comes the launch settings.json. Properties folder contains a file, that is launch settings.json file, which contains all the information required to launch the application. So it contains the profiles through which the application can be run. Each profile is mapped to a command name, application URL on which application is launched, and environment variables, etc. So what exactly these are? Let me open the launch settings.json. Here you can see that currently I'm having IIS settings profiles as well as my web application 22 related informations. So usually there will be a command name, launch browser equal to true. This is the application URL. So these are the particular ports through which my local host is opening my application, as well as the environment variables under the development. Launch settings, we have two profiles. One will launch the application on IIS Express and another through the Kestrel server used in the case when the application is run through the .NET CLI or profile is selected through the Visual Studio launch icon. So you are having two type of settings. One is for IIS settings and second is IIS Express. So here, whenever you are launching, one will be going to launch the application on your IIS Express and another on the Kestrel server. So Kestrel server is newly introduced with respect to the ASP.NET Core. It is one of the light server through which you are going to execute your application. Next comes the APPSETTINGS.JSON file. This contains your logging information. We already explained, we have already seen that it contains log level, default, Microsoft.hosting.lifetime. So in .NET Framework, we store application level settings or configuration in the web.config. So in the .NET Core Framework, AppSettings.json will do the same work. All the connection strings, application related settings are stored in the AppSettings.json file in JSON format. So you can remember, like, this is your web.config file of your ASP.NET Core, in which you can do connection related settings. Suppose if you are connecting to the database, how we are adding app settings within the web.config in your normal ASP.NET application. Similarly, you can do the connection settings over here. Program.cs file contains the main method, which is the entry point for the application. It will create a web host builder and configure the services defined in startup.cs file. So WWWROOT folder, I have already explained. This contains the sum of the standard CSS, JavaScript, and images file, or the bootstrap files or jQuery related files, which you are relating to your entire application. So as per your requirement, you can keep on adding any number of files over here through which you can implement your logic with respect to your ASP.NET Core web application or ASP.NET Core Web Application empty or ASP.NET Core Web Application with MVC. So this is all about the ASP.NET Core project templates as well as project structure. Hope this video is useful for everybody. Keep watching Jopat Tech Guru. I'm going to add few more videos related to the core applications. Thanks for watching. Have a great day ahead. If you have not subscribed yet to my channel, please do subscribe and click on the bell icon to get the notifications of all my new videos. Thank you, everybody.